Alright, so we're back with the book. We have a different little setup here. Hopefully you guys can see this. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to crack this case. You can see this is the, I believe, like the second generation case, so it's not the oldest, but it is, pretty old. Probably 8 or 9 years or so when I got this graded. So we're going to crack this guy open. And we're gonna try to see if there's anything that we could clean on this guy. I believe the grader's note said that there was some little smudge back here. Maybe it's just some oil or something like that. Hopefully I could just clean that off. This is a book that has a lot of color on it, not too much white, so it's gonna be really hard to try to clean this book. I do have some little things here that I'm gonna go over as I crack this out to go to clean it. Alright, but without further ado, let's crack this guy open. These older cases tend to be a little easier to crack, only because the sides, you can pretty much, look at that, sorry if you can't see that, but you can pretty much put your hand, your finger right in there and kind of separate the case. You can see that already, it's already kind of split open there. What you can do is basically just get a screwdriver and kind of get in that little wedge. Alright, hopefully you guys can see that. And basically what you want to do is get in there and like kind of slide and twist. Right, you kind of heard that crack. You want to hear that crack, right? I know it's going to be a little scary at first, a little jarring. The book should be okay in there as long as you kind of take your time as you're going through this. Alright, so there you go, and you kind of just like twist and pop. You can kind of hear those little cracks going through. Like I said, this is probably my second or third time cracking a book out. It's again a little unsettling at first, but once you kind of do it, and you know that if you take your time and you don't go a little too crazy with it, you should be able to get the book out fairly easy. And as I say that, it kind of takes a little longer, but you can hear as you go down the side, you hear the little popping noise, and that's just the case separating. And there you go. Kind of, once you get like two sides of it, you can mostly kind of peel it off from there, and there you go. So case open. I know some people like to save the case for whatever reason. See that little corner there? I didn't pull it up enough, but some people like to save it. What I want to do is, so as you can see, the book is in a little protective sleeve that they kind of put in here. It's not, I don't believe it's exactly airtight. Sorry if you couldn't see that, but I don't believe it is. You kind of just discard the case, put that off to the side, have a nice clean work surface. Once we take the book out, we're going to put it right on this clean board here. And you just want to make sure that board is clear. I usually have just like a little fine brush with me with very fine bristles. When you're dusting off your book, you don't want to scratch it, so you get something that's extremely fine material. Usually what I like to do is I also like to save the tag. So I like to save this just as a kind of a reminder as to what the grade was. I am getting this book, I'm cracking it out to clean and press it because I believe there are some defects on here that I can fix. But also I'm getting the book signed at Boston Fan Expo by Joe Quesada, so that's why I'm cracking this guy out. So I'm going to keep this for my own, so as you can kind of see, it's a 9.0 right there. And the grader's notes on this said basically there was some waviness, and like I said, that smudge mark in the back, which we're going to try to see about that. I believe there I definitely see some waviness and a couple little things there, but we'll go from there. So this is the part that's really nerve-wracking. The cracking out is one thing. Cutting this guy out of the protective sleeve is another thing. So some people, just get a pair of scissors and just kind of take your time along the side. Some people use a razor blade. I feel like you might have a little less control with the razor blade as you're kind of coming down, and if you just move a little bit, you can kind of cut the book. At least with the scissors, you have a little more control as where you're cutting, and obviously you can stop a little easier with this guy. So we're gonna cut this guy open right now, and I'm gonna start from the bottom here, just because there's a lot more room at the side of the book there, and you know, the margin of error, you have just a little more space. So like I said, just kind of take your time as you're cutting through here. You can hold the book up, you can lay it flat, however you want to do it. Like I said, always try to stay kind of as close as you can to the outside. Obviously, you don't want to cut your book, which would suck. And just kind of go along the side there. And again, it's one of those things where once you have kind of two sides of the book, or two sides of the sleeve cut, you should be able to just pry it open and pull the book out. So now let's go from let's use the top here, and again I'm going to take my time and cut ever so slowly along the top. And sometimes you don't even need to go all the way, right? You could just cut it enough where you kind of free the book, and you can kind of slide it out. And just kind of take your time. Sorry if you guys can't see that. I said this is the first time I've done this on camera. Alright, so now we can move all our stuff out of the way. We get our clean board here. Make sure there's nothing on here, and place your book down. So there you go. We freed it from its case, and now we're going to look it over and see what's on here, see what we can kind of clean up. Alright, so I have my light here. I do have another overhead light, but sometimes that might be a little too bright. I'll turn it on just so you can see what I'm talking about. See, so it's a little too bright. It actually is pretty good when you're looking at the book, just because you really want to make sure you see all the imperfections on here, because you know, CGC will look at everything, and you know, if they see any kind of imperfections on here, you're gonna get dinged on it. So we're trying to get a nice little grade bump, and we'll see what we can get. So the first thing I do is just take a little cotton pad here, just like a little makeup remover. I usually take this and just kind of go over it once over on the book, just to kind of get any kind of dirt and debris. These are really good because they also they remove fingerprints really well, but they also remove dirt, and it becomes a little like static charge. So if there is any like little crap on there, this kind of will take it out as well. So that's pretty cool. Alright, and we'll kind of just go from there. Nice once over. Take your time when you get to the corners. You don't want to yank and pull. I can already see that there's a line down here in the bottom that might have been from the encapsulation process. We'll kind of look it over again. I see just like a little indent on the top there. The rest of the book looks pretty good. Corners look nice. Like I said, just kind of dust it off, make sure there's nothing on here. Spine ticks, there's probably like one non-color breaking, maybe two non-color breaking spine ticks there. The rest of the book looks pretty nice. We'll flip it over. We'll kind of look over it again. Like I see, I can see a nice indent right here, another indent right here. And the top looks okay, corners look nice. Like I said, I can see those little indents and those little imperfections. And I do see this smudge, and it is some kind of just like little crud. Let's see if we can just wipe it off, and if not, then we're gonna have to try something else. Alright, but let's just see if I can get this. It's almost like, I don't know, food? Glue? I don't know what the hell that is. This book is it was one of my first submissions that I submitted, you know, about 8-9 years ago, before I knew anything about it. And you can kind of see on the pad there's some little crud coming off. This was my first submission. I mean, didn't know anything really about grading too much. I just kind of like looked over the book. It looked okay, and I wanted to submit it. It was just a good book, but I didn't know anything about pressing at that point. I didn't even know that was an actual thing. you know, I kind of just got back into the hobby after some time off, and you know, again, it was just one of my submissions, so it came back at 9.0. Hopefully we're going to try to get a grade bump here. So this is an absorbing pad, cleaning pad. This is basically just a document cleaning pad. It's kind of like just a sponge. It's not exactly rough on the paper, and it's just used to preserve documents and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy and kind of just kind of wipe across and see if we can get some of this crud off of here. I like to go always in one direction as I'm holding one side, and just hold your paper, and then I'll just kind of like flip it and then do the same thing on the other side. Alright, just try to get as much crud or anything that's on there off, and we'll flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. These, you know, pads tend to get a little dirty every once in a while as you continue to clean books with these, and you'll kind of see there's some little crap on there. As time goes on, what I'll do is I'll just like slice off another piece and keep on going. It gets, you know, obviously smaller and smaller. Buy another one. Alright, so that doesn't look too bad. We might have got some stuff off, and let's check out what we got on the other side for that crud that's on there. So this is going to be some work on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some absorbing cleaner, and it's basically just like a nice little putty. Alright, so I have some, you can reuse this, and what you do is you kind of just work it over. You want to get a nice heat going on to it, right? You want to get it nice and warm so it's more malleable, more pliable, and it's a little easier to use. It doesn't stick on your book as much. So this is pretty good for cleaning as well. It'll remove a lot of crap and junk, but it also doesn't remove a lot of color from your book. Again, if used in moderation, if you stay in one spot too long, you will remove color, and we're not trying to do that, right? This is, you know, a book that has a lot of color in the back. There's not too much white, so we're just going to work this over. Alright, so normally what you do with this guy is you kind of take it, you put it on your paper, kind of hold whatever you have and just kind of roll, right? You just roll over whatever section you want to clean. It usually will take up, or any kind of like dirt, it'll kind of pick it up. So the only thing is this, whatever this is just not, it's something I've never seen before. I mean, I don't think it's, you know, the industry or cleaning will call it, you know, you get a little booger on the book, and that, you know, just kind of sucks. Again, I'm just trying to work this guy over to try to remove that. I don't want to do too much because, again, I'm not trying to remove color. I'm just trying to get whatever this crud is off of there, and again, don't want to remove too much color from the book. So what I have here is just basically like a little dental, you know, pick tools, and these again, they can scratch, so I tend to go very, very light, extremely light. Try to grab a little corner or whatever it is, and just try to like gently lift it up. Sorry if I'm blocking the view. And then just grab the pad and see if I can lift whatever that is. I think I just want to soften it up enough where I can, you know, take it off. Alright? That's all we're trying to do. looks like we might have got it off. With minimal, you know, discoloration, or, you know, there might be a little bit, you know, I might have went a little too much with some of the other cleaning supplies. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, who knows. Maybe, you know, CGC would be like, eh, it's alright. Again, it was a 9.0. Even if I can get this up to a 9.2, 9.4, you know, I'm happy with that. This book is staying in the PC. So for me, I'm just trying to clean it, present it as best as possible. I wanted to take off that crud, which is what they said was on there. So basically that's off now. I don't know if you can kind of see it. It was right there, a little like, you know, glue, you know, I don't know what that was, but it's off now. You know, hopefully I don't get dinged too much for that, but we'll see how it goes, right? Other than that, I like to look through the book as well, right? And see if there's any kind of debris or anything inside that can, again, negatively affect the book. You'll have, sometimes you'll have like little debris in there that will leave little marks on the book, so you definitely want to check the entire book as well. Alright, you want to open it up and make sure that there's, you know, I'm noticing little dots and stuff in here. Again, more things that I didn't know about. I just submitted the book, so I'm trying to just make sure that all those are gone. All these little dust balls and anything like that will leave an impression when you're pressing it, so you want to make sure that that's all dusted off. And we'll do like a final, I usually do a final like shake, just to make sure if there is anything that I missed, maybe I can shake it off. Here's your centerfold. You want to make sure your staples are nice and tight in there as well. So that's always a plus. They look for that and see if your centerfold is loose from the staples. That will ding you even on a modern book, especially on a modern book. Alright. Okay, we'll go through. Alright. Sorry if this is a longer video than anticipated. But I wanted to go over it, and there's definitely some waviness inside the book as well. This could just be from, you know, years of being inside encapsulated, and finally, you know, hitting some air, which, you know, takes a while. You know, will take a toll on it. And all right, we'll wipe that off, make sure we're good. Alright, and the last page, or the front page. So we look pretty good there. The book looks pretty good. And alright, so that's the cleaning. I believe I got rid of what they said was on the grader's notes, so that little blemish that was in the back, I got rid of that. You know, it's a shame that I might have removed just a little color getting that out, just because it was like glue, and it was just a pain. So hopefully, you know, it's hard to tell, and you know, maybe they miss it, maybe they get it, I don't know, who knows, we'll see. Maybe we'll see on the results, right, and see if they actually put something on there. So now this book is actually ready to go in the press, so I'm gonna cut the video and I will be right back when it's ready for the press. Alright, so we're back, and we have the press ready. So this is a standard clamshell press. I bought the 15 by 10, I believe, just so that if I need to do two books, I can. It just makes it a little easier, but for this, I'm just only going to do one, right? So for the material that I use, I take 3 magazine size boards. I have 3 of these, and I'm going to just lay it this way. Right now the press is hot. I already heated it up, so this top piece is the heating element, so try to avoid that. Sorry, they shifted on me. Alright, so throw these guys down. You want that to be nice and flat. Then next what I do is on top of that I throw a piece of parchment paper. It's basically essentially like baking sheet. And that's to get the book not to stick. The boards I also put glossy side down. And now we're going to prepare the book. So what I do is I also take some silicone release paper. I cut it to size. I usually cut it a little smaller just because when I'm doing 2 books at a time, it's easier to have the smaller pages. If not, they'll go on each other, and that's not what you want. The other piece that I use is this paper, this sheet right here, and this is not a backboard. So this is what's known as, it's basically like an art paper. So it is this guy right here. So if you can see that, so it's Bristol. This is the name brand that I get, and what it is, it's a thicker paper, but not as thick as a backboard. It has 100 pounds of pressure on it, so it's nice. It doesn't have your book get crushed. You want the smooth surface. You don't want any blemishes on it. So that's what I get, and I just kind of cut it to size, right, so that it just barely sticks out past the book. All right, because you don't want it to be inside the book, because then it'll leave it indent. You want it to be sticking out just a little bit. But again, that's why I have the extra one, or I cut them a little smaller because I want to be able to do 2 books at a time sometimes. So I put one in the middle. So right, find the middle centerfold and put one in there. If sometimes you see that the centerfold, the staples, it doesn't sit directly on the staple and it kind of falls to either side of the staple. If that happens, I usually like to put 2 of them and put one on either side of that staple because I don't want it to push through on the cover of the book. This one seemed to be pretty good. I was able to get it like pretty much on the staple. So if it falls on the staple, it's usually pretty good. And then next what I'll do is I take another one, find the back page, alright, and throw one in the back page. And the reason why I like these as well from the backboards is that they fit really nice all the way to the spine. And then I take my silicone release paper, which is a little thicker than the parchment paper, and I put that as well so it doesn't stick, right? And it just gives me a little more depth to that to kind of get those spine ticks out. And then that's the back, and I do the same thing for the front. So get that, just kind of dust it off, make sure it's fine. Try to stick it as far into the spine as you possibly can, right? And then another silicone release paper as well, right? And then what I like to do is I hold it, pinch it, and then kind of just give it a nice little tap just to make sure that everything is down. I'm going to throw this in front facing up, and I'm going to put it spine back, right? So the spine is going to be facing the back of this guy. Then I take another parchment paper, throw it right over the top of this guy, and then I take 3 more, and put these guys right on top. Alright, so now you make like a nice little sandwich. You throw that guy right on top. I heated this up to 155, and because it's a newer book that has pretty good gloss on it, I only run this for about 10 minutes. Now every heating is different. You could try different things. You could put more heat, less heat, more time, whatever you want to do, try it, but this is what works for me. So I set it at 155 for this model, and I run it for about 10 minutes. Usually when I go more than that, these books that have gloss on the outside and inside, the pages tend to stick. So that's why I don't do it for too long. Alright, my pressure is already set for what I want. Some people like to play around with that beforehand. You just have to make sure that you see how much space you have. You don't want to crush the hell out of it and pancake it. You basically want to have enough pressure, go down, click, and that's it. So I don't use the time on this. I know it has a, you know, where you can set 500 seconds, whatever it is. I don't use this. I basically just use my phone, set a timer, and then when that goes off, I cut it off. So we'll be back in 10 minutes, and then we're gonna cut this guy off. Be right back. All right, so we're at the 5-second mark. 4, 3, 2, 1. Timer off, and basically just kill the power. So now we shut the power off, and that's it. Just, you know, set it and forget it, you know. So once the power is off, you just leave this guy on here. I tend to leave my books overnight. I kind of look it over. Sometimes you can kind of get away with just a single press, and it kind of gets rid of a lot of the creases that you have. If the book is really bad, afterwards you take a look at it, you can flip it over and then just repeat the process again, right? Another, you know, 10 minutes on the other side, clamp it down, and then shut it off, and then leave it overnight again. Usually that gets rid of quite a bit of wrinkles. But that's pretty much it. The main thing with this is basically just setting your timer and making sure that you don't forget and actually shut it off, because you don't want to burn your book. When it's done, you know, we can kind of take a look at how it looks afterwards, and you know, we'll go from there. But hopefully I have time to do that. If not, you will see the results when they get signed, because I'm kind of in a time crunch here. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. All right, so thanks for watching the video, and come back and hopefully let's see the results. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.